Hey everybody, welcome to the SkyLounge podcast, episode number 145, and as always, thank you so much for joining me today and listening in. If you are new, welcome, and check out some of the other episodes on the page. All episodes are available on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Music, so make sure you're subscribed so you can get notified for a new episode every Tuesday. Make sure to follow me on YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook at the SkyLounge. Stalk me on Snapchat at DA13IG5EUNG. Let's get started. I know! It's not Tuesday! Stop yelling at me! Imaginary voice in my head. And move on to the topic of the fucking week. Back and forth. And there and back again. Los Angeles weekend. Yeah. Within the last 30 fucking days, I went to LA 3 times. 3 goddamn times. It's a fucking city of homeless angels with venereal diseases, man. It's a fucking cesspool over there. That's be there 3 fucking times. And here's the thing, boys and girls. The last 2 times, before the third time, the last 2 times, we went back and forth on a Greyhound bus. Because I'm cheap like that, and I don't give a fuck. And my mom hates flying, for whatever reason. She hates the altitude and elevation, all that shit. So we take the bus, head to LA, and the last 2 times, took care of business, came right out, took the bus back to Las Vegas, and that was it. This time around, we figured, alright, we gotta take care of shit at the Consulate General of the Republic of Korea in Los Angeles, which is a long fucking name that I gotta take care of shit of in that area, which is a whole other fucking thing. And it was a dud. It was a fucking dud. Took that goddamn bus. Got there. Dud. And that was the last 2 times. And the third time too. Dud. So, each and every fucking time we've been there, I wanted to fucking strangle somebody. Because I had to be in Los Angeles. Okay? As good as some of the best parts of Los Angeles could be, you know, the food, namely, it's a fucking disgusting city, okay? I feel like every time I fucking step out, I'm gonna catch some sort of fucking disease. And the humidity was ridiculous. I'm complaining about some first world problem shit. I know, motherfuckers. I know that shit right now. But I'll tell you what. When you're walking around in 50+ percentage in humidity, 50% plus in humidity. I said that weird. I know. I did. But when you walk around in that level of disgusting humidity, rage! Just fucking rage! But what settled all that shit down was food. Thank God for that. Had food. The first day we were there, we had this Korean Chinese food. Amazing. I mean, if you're in Koreatown, boys and girls, I'll tell you one thing right now. You won't run out of food ideas, okay? Because if you are a fat fuck like me, and if you get high as shit like me on weed, like me, I don't, like, why do I keep repeating myself? Because you don't have a full-out script, motherfucker, and you're kind of conversating with yourself on bullet points. Hey! Existentialism! Or is that just 5th wall break, whatever. Breaking the 4th wall, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Had food. Unbelievable time. Fucking, the Korean Chinese food was just fucking bomb as fuck. And Koreatown is flourishing with great food everywhere. And so, had that in the afternoon. Took a fucking fat nap. Because you're a fat fuck, you gotta take a fat nap, okay? I mean, I'll speak for myself at least. And that same evening, the Dodgers were playing. We went to a seafood restaurant, Korean seafood restaurant, and the Dodgers were playing on television. Which, boys and girls, the reason why I'm very surprised at that is because the contract rights for the Dodgers for television viewing is strictly for Spectrum Sportsnet Los Angeles, and if you're not within the designated area in the city, you don't get to watch the Dodgers, okay? So for me, as a Dodgers fan, this was fucking awesome. I was watching Hyunjin Ryu pitch like a motherfucking god, and we eventually beat the Marlins. And that was a good time, just eating the food, watching Ryu pitch, getting back to the hotel, eating again. That first day was just stress eating and high eating. That's all that shit was. So the very next day, you have to compensate, right? You have to compensate. It's all about balance. You eat and behave like a fucking glutton. The very next day, you wake up 7 in the morning, find the nearest gym, go work out for 2 hours. And that's what I did, boys and girls. Because as disgusting as I am, I understand how disgusting I am. If you understand what that means. And so, despite the fact that my physical form right now is in a steep, sharp decline, I'm still very aware of the fact that, yes, I need to work out because I don't want to balloon up too much to a point where I have to fucking waddle around like a fucking penguin, or those fat fucking Americans who complain about the fucking cup sizes in goddamn airports. Just saying, kids, I've seen those fat fucks. So after all that shit, I head to the Staples Center early in the afternoon to go to the Team LA store, the Team LA merch store. Now, I'm going to be that cunt. I gotta kind of put you people on blast. Your customer service is fucking terrible. And good God, how do you just flat out in the physical store run out of Anthony Davis material or merch? I get it. This is it's a hot selling item. I understand that. It's not really available anywhere else except maybe the Lakers store online. But good God, you guys are the one solid source right next to the Staples Center, but you treat your customers like they're fucking pissants. Like you figure why customer retails are dying, man. This is fucking why. You people act like cunts, and I get it. You're minimum wage fodders. I get that shit, and your life must suck, okay? But good God, do your fucking job. I say this with anything. I say, do your fucking job, asshole. Is that too hard? Is that too hard, asshole? I apologize for reverting back to the Asian accent, but it gets frustrating. It gets fucking frustrating. I'm gonna bust that voice out sometimes. So how do you relieve that tension? You get more food! Back to Koreatown! From downtown to Koreatown, baby! Pap, pap, pap! That's how. And I swear to God, man, Koreatown is so intertwined within the city of Los Angeles, and it's right in like this kind of epicenter of where the huge Hispanic community is. So the funny thing and the great thing about Koreatown is, in the immediate right, you're going to be like, oh shit, Korean barbecue. We got some fucking Korean markets here. We got goddamn K-pop stores. And then you look immediately to your left. And you say, oh shit, piñatas. Oh my God, there's a fucking quinceañera in that backyard right there. Plenty of fucking taco shops. And I'll tell you one thing right now. Los Angeles Mexican food is significantly better than a lot of other places. Anywhere else. Period. You can't even compare. You really can't. The community there is so saturated with actual Mexican people who can fucking cook. The food is actually good. It's crazy, right? But it's like, yeah, no, that's what happens. And so whenever you go to Los Angeles, you got to get some Mexican food. Unfortunately, I got maybe like one small bit of taco in there, but mostly a Korean food, which was still fucking awesome. And then during that evening on Saturday, I figured, I'm going to go to the Dodgers game. I want to save a little bit on beer. So I pre-gamed a little bit at the hotel. Then go to the Dodger Stadium. Drink maybe 2 fucking tall boys. Actually, 3 beers altogether. So with all of that beer dinner came back to actually haunt me the next day. But the actual game itself was wonderful. I saw Clayton Kershaw pitch for 6 straight innings. And that, to me, was worth it. That, to me, already covered the ticket price. I was like, this is the greatest shit ever. And man, I'm not gonna lie. Watching Clayton Kershaw live, I just thought I need to get myself a jersey now. Absolutely now. Good God, he's special. He is so special, and it's crazy that he's with the Dodgers organization. I count our lucky stars that Clayton was with us. But the down and dirty of that game was we were up 6-0 by the 6th inning, and during the 7th and 8th, we gave up 6 runs, tied the game 6-6, and thanks to Mac Beatty, we went up 9-6, and then I believe it was Justin Turner somebody scored a really late run, puts us up 10-6, and we win the game. Great environment, great time. And it was one of my first times actually going to the Dodger Stadium. And I went once about 20 or some odd years ago. But for the life of me, I can't really remember the details of where I sat, like what game it was, who was playing. But this, being aware of the actual sport itself, being somewhat familiar with the roster, that familiarity really helped me ingratiate myself in appreciating the sport more. And seriously, shout out to the Dodgers. A wonderful stadium. I loved it. I loved every fucking minute of it. I was right there on the right field, section 44 FD. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic time. And unfortunately, the very next morning, I woke up so fucking hungover and just feeling sick that we had to, cure that with some Korean food, Korean barbecue precisely. And listen, man, I was being Koreaned up all fucking weekend. It was awesome. And by the time we get to the airline, I am still feeling like shit. Because for me now, boys and girls, my body has aged in a disgusting way, even at the age of 27. I feel like my hangovers last 72 hours. And my body and mind can't process things properly if I drink too much anymore, which is sad. Because back in my young days, I used to drink like a champion. And now, anytime I even smell alcohol, I'm like, oh God, here we go again. PTSD time. But thankfully, we got home, got to the puppies, had a good fucking evening. Just relaxing. And boy, I'll tell you, I love going to LA for the food, but generally everything else, it's revolting. And I listen, I love my Lakers. I love my Dodgers. They're the two true teams of Los Angeles. And I have said that so many fucking times. I dare you people to approach me and debate it out because, yeah, those are the two teams of Los Angeles. And I love seeing them. I do. But that city, oh boy. Oh boy! Let's just cut it off with this, guys. Let's just end it off with this. Ultimately, LA is a disgusting city with great foods and two of my teams, so I can't hate it too much. But yeah, 3 times in 3 months, it's been very tiring, boys and girls. Hence, why these things are so late. The podcast, I mean, shooting on a Wednesday. I know. It's all the goddamn excuses. But, boys and girls, why don't we not be so vindictive and move on to some sports and other weird shit, otherwise known as Sauce? Guys, all game and match reviews are on the YouTube page at the Sky Lounge, so make sure you check that shit out for more detailed shit. Well, I will, however, say, though, with majority of these preseason games, I'm not going to be covering them. I'm just not. Not this year. Covering preseason last year, what I learned was I'm not going to watch everything, more than likely, and it's fucking preseason. As long as nobody gets injured, I'm good. That's all I know. And so, Arsenal started their preseason in America. And unfortunately, I had an opportunity to go to Los Angeles to watch, Arsenal play, but I didn't. I chose not to go. And It's unfortunate because I would have loved to have seen the boys play, in their new Adidas kit, which I do have a Lacazette version of. Thank you very much, boys and girls. But hey, it's been good because Eddie Nketiah has been one of those guys that's been very standout, scoring prolifically in the last 2-3 matches. And this kind of gives us a hope of, a sense of optimism. Maybe something will happen. But the problem was, earlier within the weeks, a few weeks ago, actually, Lauren Koscielny declined to be a part of the preseason. And that put a lot of question mark as to what the future of Arsenal is going to be. But the reality is, we're just going to do what we have. We just have to make do with what we have. And what we have potentially is a couple more players being in the mix with Arsenal. And a lot of people might say this is a quiet summer, but I'd still say this. We had a relatively good squad last year. The unfortunate part was our goalkeeping and defense was just fucking god-awful at times. So if we can bolster that up somehow, that'd be great. But hey, if we keep mostly the same thing, I'm not really complaining. Let's just see where it gets us. So Danny Ceballos is set to join Arsenal on loan based on the reports. So I'm going to end it with that. Based on the reports, which is it's not confirmed by the clubs yet. And it might be very soon, but we'll have to see. Wait and see. And another player that might join us is Saliba. Is going to be actually loaned out his first year if his contract is signed. Again, based on the reports. So my whole thing is I think we should know by the week's end what these players' status is going to be with the squad. And we'll just have to wait and see. Because Arsenal is in that weird purgatory sense of we're good enough, but we're not great. We're not that bad. We're mediocre at best. So should we fuck around with it when we have no money? What the fuck is the point kind of deal, right? So I'm just going to wait and see. Come on, you Gunners. Come on now. We got to figure something out eventually, right? Because in the world of football, everything figures itself out. Guys like Peter Crouch finally retiring after a very long and interesting career. And another interesting career that takes a turn is Antoine Griezmann. Heads from Atletico Madrid to FC Barcelona, which, whatever, man. Whatever. FC Barcelona is slowly becoming the thing they've always said they'll never be. Oh, we're never going to splash money for fucking players. You've been doing that the last 7 some odd years. So, there you go, FC Barcelona, you fucking goddamn fucks. Anyways, boys and girls, on to some more positive news in the world of football. Congratulations to Algeria on winning the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations. I really wish Nigeria had won it, but hey, it happens. And Algeria was probably the best team on there. And unfortunately, I didn't watch the Africa Cup of Nations, but Riyad Mahrez leading Algeria. They win their Africa Cup of Nations. Solid work. So let's move on to some Seahawks news, boys and girls, because the football train goes to the other football train. And for Seahawks, Madden ratings are out. Russell Wilson, 91. Bobby Wagner, 99. 91 on Russ? All right, motherfuckers, have fun with that assessment. But 99 on Bobby. Hey, Seahawks, sign Bobby. Jesus Christ, just sign Bobby. It's not hard. God damn it. And Jaron Reed is suspended for 6 games for a 2017 incident. He was not charged nor arrested. And this comes literally a day after Tyreek Hill's situation was settled with 0 suspensions. Mind you, there is audio recording from police of Tyreek Hill in a very questionable situation. So fuck you, NFL. I mean, we might not know the full context of Jaron Reed's situation, but at this point, we are behind you, Jaron Reed. All right? And fuck you, NFL. Seriously. Jesus fucking Christ. And training camp begins, boys and girls. Training camp begins. That means we are that much closer to preseason, which means we are that much closer to actual regular season football. Da 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 da. As much as I say fuck you NFL, I can't wait for the NFL to start. Because, yes, Madden ratings came out. 99s all around for 4 players. Aaron Donald, Khalil Mack, DeAndre Hopkins, and Bobby Wagner. Yes, our own Bobby gets a nod for 99 because of course he does. Best linebacker in the goddamn game. No questions about it, boys and girls. And some players' reaction to underrating their numbers. There were some funny reactions. I would say Keenan Allen is the best one. There is really no comparison. This is the best one. And this makes us salivate for actual football, right? The regular season, the first fucking game. I think that Hall of Fame game, too, that should be interesting. The Bears and the Packers, I believe. Could be wrong. Is that the game? We'll have to double check on that schedule, boys and girls, but we cannot wait for some football because there's other football news. Mark Sanchez, butt fumble, announced his retirement from football. He is now heading into broadcasting. NCAA football analyst. Jesus Christ, dude. Analyst. Fuck. All right, boys and girls. Enough of my weird pronunciation of the word analyst. And tap into the fact that Mark Sanchez made $74 million across 10 years between 6 teams. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Mark freaking Sanchez. So, well, just sit on that for like a minute. Just sit on that for a minute, boys and girls. Because that's the NFL news for you. Let's move on to some Lakers news. Anthony Davis is going to be wearing the number 3 next season because Nike blocked the move of LBJ gifting the number 23 to AD. The overstock in inventory by Nike was one reason, and he also didn't file a formal number change application, I guess, by a deadline which was set in March, around mid-March. And that's one more season of LBJ 23 before we get AD 23. So, yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see, boys and girls. And a lot of, dumb sports media people just suggesting, it's a 1-year deal. He's not going to resign. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And I'll just flip everybody the bird the day Anthony Davis resigns with the Lakers. So, Phil Handy has joined as an assistant coach with the Lakers. He went to 5 straight finals, 4 with the Cavs, 1 with the Raptors, and 2 wins in that time. 1 with the Cavs, 1 with the Raptors. Yes, boys and girls. So our roster is still a 14-man squad. Obviously, the wish list is Andre Iguodala, and hopefully that does become a thing. But we'll just have to wait and see. Because again, this is kind of going to be the lull period in the NBA where we're just waiting for any kind of news. And, of course, with the end of the Summer League, Memphis Grizzlies coming out as winners, and Finals and Summer League MVP Brandon Clark coming out of Memphis proved to be a very solid outing. I went to one night of the NBA Summer League. That was a great time, and you get to see a lot of young talents, and hopefully they reach their potential in the NBA. Some may not. Some actually might. I've seen guys like Alex Caruso just come up from nothing. I've seen, Kyle Kuzma win the Summer League MVP and then just completely dominated in his first year as a rookie. And you also had guys like Lonzo with all the hype. B.I. was also a very hyped up player, right after the Kobe era. That was just going to be a huge thing too. So the Summer League does provide a lot of great moments, and hopefully that does transition into the NBA season for these young players. And fun times in the NBAs are coming because Tim Duncan is officially coming back to basketball as an assistant coach to Greg Popovich. Awesome to see some positivity for the fans. And I know, getting swerved by Marcus Morris is a thing for the Spurs, but it's like, dude, who cares? Like, it's Marcus Morris. He's an all right power forward, but don't evaluate him too much. Right? You got Tim Duncan. He's going to fucking focus that shit up. You haven't won Without Timmy, guys, you need Timmy. Because Timmy's important. And boys and girls, what is important to me? A certain team that wears the color gold. Not just the Lakers, but the Golden Knights. And the Golden Knights have been doing some work this offseason. Jake Bischoff has signed a 3-year deal. Solid. I like it. It was like $725,000 annual average value. So, pretty solid deal. Can't really complain about that. And we also have other news that Derek Englund signed a 1-year extension, also the same amount, $725,000. And that's just awesome. The fact that we got Derek Englund to come back, being the heart, being the leader in that locker room, helps out tremendously. And we got rid of the David Clarkson contract, boys and girls, and also a 4th-round pick for Garrett Sparks. So now we got some cap space. We can manipulate that to maybe sign some restricted free agents. Who the hell knows? But the roster is just molding itself into more of a viable shape. So, Golden Knights fans, just be patient. And get ready to congratulate Ryan Reeves. His brewing company, 75 Brewing Company, has been approved by the city of Las Vegas for a manufacturing license. Again, congratulations to Revo, and let's all get fucked up on his beer. Fuck yeah. Actually, his beer is delicious, by the way. I bought that shit so many times. I've actually contemplated buying that for Los Angeles, and I didn't. I should have, because I would have had a better time with some Las Vegas beer in Los Angeles. But there you go, boys and girls. Golden Knights are having a good time. And of course, along with the Golden Knights and a lot of teams in the NHL, restricted free agents are still on the loom. So, it's a bit quiet still, off-season shit, but it should fucking result in some interesting shit, before the preseason. So there you have it, boys and girls. So let me talk about my Dodgers real quick. Yes, I went to LA over the weekend, watched my Dodgers play. That was all good. And over the last few days, they announced the 2020 All-Star Game will be in Los Angeles, and the Dodgers will undertake a $100 million renovation project planned ahead before the All-Star break to add some elevators, other things in the center field, I believe, and a Sandy Koufax statue that would be outside the stadium. So, can't wait for that. That's going to probably have me go to the All-Star Game next year, more than likely. I would love to go to see what it's actually like. The home run derby of Jock Peterson and Vlad Guerrero Jr. would be phenomenal. That's all I really want to see. Vladdy Jr. is just fucking phenomenal, dude. I really want to see that shit. And speaking of phenomenal, boys and girls, we had a tremendous event last week. Yeah, it was last week. Wimbledon. I know. But congratulations to Novak Djokovic on winning his 5th Wimbledon, edging out Roger Federer in an epic 5th-set tiebreaker. Longest Wimbledon final match, and Feds kind of choked it at the end. And it's a bummer. It is a bummer for me as a Federer fan, but it happens, and the better player won. And on the same day, the England cricket team won the Cricket World Cup in another tiebreaker, the first ever in a World Cup final on cricket. So congratulations to England again. I don't know shit about cricket, but again, this was happening almost simultaneously alongside Wimbledon, which was curious because England, Wimbledon, the connection's all there. So, boom! Appreciation and kudos to all. Now, let's talk about one last sports shit. Forbes Top 50 Sports Franchises is out. Top value, whatever you want to call it. It is on their website. Go check it out. It's actually pretty interesting. Aside from my hockey team, the Vegas Golden Knights, all 4 of my teams are in the top 50. So I can't complain. My Dodgers, my Lakers, my Arsenal, and also my Seahawks. So can't complain here, boys and girls. But surprise, surprise, the top 5. Number 1, Dallas Cowboys at $5 billion in valuation. Number 2, the New York Yankees, $4.6 billion. Real Madrid, $4.24 billion. FC Barcelona, $4.02 billion. The New York Knicks, $4 billion. So very high in numbers, but those 5 really are the standouts. They always have been, always on the top 10 in terms of value, because just based on the context of what they actually are, if you look into individual teams, yes, the valuations completely make sense. Just read into it, boys and girls. It's fascinating. Now, guys, remember, all weekly writing is in the links in the description below. Check that shit out. Weekly writing number 22, lyrics, poem, and songs, Lust Nuts. Explicit and short, kids. That's all I have to say. If you want to go check it out, check that shit out. It is in the link. Weekly film number 22. This garbage! Why the fuck did they remake this? Lion King. Plot: Jon Favreau just copies and pastes the 1994 film with new technology. Changed my fucking mind. Characters: how do you have Donald Glover, an absolute stud of an actor, and have him sound like a deadpan version of himself? Generally, everybody's character was a bit off, a bit extra, especially Beyonce Knowles. Like, why do you have to put a little extra flair with Nala? You don't have to. I guess you're just a fucking big enough name that you get enough fucking voice and screen time in there. Fuck you. Jesus Christ. Billy Eichner was okay, but again, it's just a little extra. Like, I guess James Earl Jones is really that one guy where I said, all right, I feel like you're being forced to this, but you're probably the best one out of everybody here. So, all right, thanks, James Earl Jones. You're class. You're absolute class. Visuals. Hey, shout out to cinematographer Caleb Deschanel. Probably the best part of this movie is the visuals. Just gorgeous cinematography. The way the technology works for these animals, it's actually pretty stunning if you think about it and just look at it. And the music by Hans Zimmer is solid. Same guy who, composed a 1994 film, brings back his edge here, but it's also sprinkled by like modern shit, like Beyonce singing, like excessive. That shit was just excessive. I don't need Beyonce. Because to me, boys and girls, I don't care however you fucking take this. If you want to take it up the ass, fuck you. Beyonce is the worst. Okay? She's the worst. Like, it wasn't like that for a long time for me. I feel like even like 2005, like around that time, she was fine. And then I think it was probably around like Lemonade and shit. That's when I'm like, all right, you're smelling your own asshole and thinking it smells like fucking roses, and everybody else is buying along, but not me. I'm not too crazy about that shit. And you know what else? I'll just end it with one thing with fucking Beyonce. This fucking woman says, fuck the police, and all this fucking innuendo and suggestion that, police is terrible. And she is escorted into the Super Bowl by police officers. Just sit on that for like 5 minutes. Just fucking really sit on that shit. And here's the thing. How do you make the animals look so real with the technologies you have, but have zero emotions? Like, don't y'all got the tech for that? And I know that's nitpicking. I know that is. But generally speaking, this movie, you didn't need to do it, but you did. And I had to, I'm going to be honest, man. I wrote a 4 on here. I did. And you know what? I'm going to be nice today. I'm going to stick to the 4. The Lion King is the culmination of corporate impatience and greed to churn out a soulless piece of film that is so bland that you begin to wonder when the movie is going to be over when you're watching it. I know that's harsh. I know it is. But kids, if you want to watch The Lion King, I'll tell you what. That money you were going to spend to go to the theaters and watch this shit, take that money, go on Amazon, go on YouTube, go on Google Play, go on iTunes, go wherever you buy movies, and purchase the original 1994 Lion King. And if you're rich enough, if you're balling enough, or if they are playing in select theaters near you, or select Broadway station near you, go watch the Lion King musical. It's so much better. Either of those 2 options, you will get your fucking money's worth. Guaranteed. This new shit? No. You watch this when you're browsing on cable. No, cool. This Lion King's on. Oh, shit, cool. But to watch it in theaters? No. Absolutely not. My God. Now, guys, enough salt. Let's start with some sweet. Album of the week, number 22. The Fame by Lady Gaga. Fun titty bit, boys and girls. Old Man Me. wanted to listen to some old-ass Gaga music. And this is the album that made me get curious about Gaga, then ultimately into a fan back in 2008. And so I've been a fan since then, kids. And I saw Lady Gaga once in concert in 2017. I was up front so close, by the aisles where Gaga was performing, she was walking, and you could see her a couple yards away, but you could see her like right fucking there. And I was just wowed. I was crying like a fucking maniac. It was awesome. And so this is where it all begins, the genesis of my love for Lady Gaga. And so I went back to this album. And my favorite track on here by far is Paparazzi. Holy shit, showcasing the best of Gaga singing and pop genre manipulation. And by art pop, she basically mastered pop. And so you gotta start somewhere, but she mastered pop by art pop. Funny enough. But the mid track for me on here is Paper Gangster. I don't hate it, it's just really bland as all hell. I don't really care for it. That's the better word for it. And the thought chorus, and I'll end it with this. As a little monster, I recommend anyone who wants to hear the start of Gaga's greatness. And it begins here. You listen to The Fame. It's a great album. Now, the 2019 San Diego Comic-Con came and went this last weekend. And trailers galore. So much new shit coming out, boys and girls. MCU, Netflix, Amazon, everything. There are so many great fucking contents coming out now. And I'm excited. I'm excited for what the future has to hold. So let's not die yet, right? Let's not fucking die yet. So guys, if you're hanging, on a rope by your neck, don't do it yet. There's so much good shit coming out. Wait a little bit before you kill yourself. Now, next week on the Sky Lounge, boys and girls, we're nearing August. So folks, thank you so much for joining me this week. Make sure you're subscribed on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Music for a new episode every Tuesday. Make sure to follow me on YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook at The Sky Lounge. Stalk me on Snapchat at DA13IG5EUNG. Key change. Now, fuck off.